Hi everyone, this is Nicky from RuPaul's Drag Race Season 12. I have the incredible honor to be with W Magazine today for a makeup tutorial. I will be reproducing an iconic eye from Sophia Loren. I think she was definitely known for her very particular eye makeup. So let's make a draggy Sophia Loren look together, okay? The first step that you want to do is make sure that you moisturize the skin, because without moisturizing the skin, you are basically working on a broken canvas. My favorite moisturizer when I do drag, because it is very deeply moisturizing, is the Magic Cream by Charlotte Tilbury. I am obsessed with this. You know, you really want to make sure that all the areas that are gonna need some blending, some cream foundation, powder foundation is really moisturized. This is really gonna make your work faster and cleaner. Oh, you really go everywhere. Even the ears, people, even the ears, okay? All right, so now that we've done that, we are going to use a little bit of alcohol on cotton ball, because this is how I'm gonna remove the excess of oil that are on my brows before I glue them. So you just wanna take a little bit, all right, and you're gonna go and do a circular motion and really try to just stay on the brow, because this is how you're gonna remove the oil. So now, what I like to use to cover my brows, because you know I have some thick brows, I like to use Prosade cream. This is a prosthetic adhesive, and it's gonna really help you to lock the brows really well if you perform. If you're a performer, I'm about to do a digital drag show right after this, and I need security, because you do not want to have the illusion come out in the middle of the show. I like to use a little mascara brush, and I take some like this, and then I'm literally just gonna go against the hair, okay? You really wanna go against the hair, because this is what's gonna allow you to cover all the areas. I'm probably gonna have to kill you after this, because nobody knows. And then you're just gonna go, and then I like to do half first, because that thing dries pretty quickly. So you just wanna brush it, and then you go like this. All right, now, time to brush. The more you're gonna be able to press this on the skin, and the flatter it's gonna look. And because all of this is gonna be covered by foundation, you really wanna have no volume whatsoever. You don't want the product to dry too fast, so I'm gonna use the Neutrogena wipes. This is literally, if drag queens do not date people, at least they're dating Neutrogena. So you're gonna use this wipe, you're gonna take your little dainty finger, and then you're gonna go and clean very carefully around the edges. So now that I've done that, I'm using my Dermablend powder, and I'm gonna take a little bit of it. I like to use a little beauty blender that I actually do not wet, because this is gonna give me that opacity that I need to really press onto the brow. So now you're gonna dab, dab, dab. Now you take a little brush, you brush out the excess, and look. No volume. So now that I've covered my brows, I am going to go ahead and start shaping my foundation. So what I like to do is to use a foundation that matches my skin tone first, and then start to contour and highlights, okay? So, but before that, we are gonna color correct, because I am a man, and I need to color block my mustache and the blue of the beard. So I like to use Dragon Beauty. Nicky Dragon created this dragon potion that is a very pigmented orange that you can use on areas to really kind of like reverse that area. So if, for example, this area was supposed to be dark, you're gonna be able to highlight it. So I like to use a beauty blender, again, wet, dry, and I'm just gonna go and dab it. Dab, 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 dab. So it should look like that. And then you just go on your throat, and you just keep dabbing. All right, so now we have this, and then I like to use what is left over and just go on my brow. And this is it's gonna help me to remove the excess of powder, but also kind of like leave a little bit of pigment on the brow. You might gonna find me crazy, you might gonna find me incredibly wise and smart. I use a leg and body makeup foundation on my face because this is a waterproof formula. And the brand is Dermablend Leg and Body Foundation. So what I like to do is that I kind of like put it already on me in all the areas that I need to. You see? You look like, well, my forehead is too big, so we're gonna add a little more here. And then I like to use, I love this, I think this is a real technique for Beauty Blender. What I love about it is that it has like a flat shape, and that really helps me to cover the area really well. So I like to just dab. This is kind of like a face massage. And then please, 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 drag queens out there, don't have your ears red when your face is yellow. By all means, cover the ear. So for example, let me show you now. I have an issue with my brow right now. I can see that there's some hair that are not perfectly glued, and they're starting to come over the foundation. So you're gonna go back locally. This is great that I fucked up because messed up. I'm polite. Because I'm gonna be able to show you how to clean. For example, the top of my left brow was looking a little funky, and so I'm just adding a little bit, and then by adding some powder on top of it, it's going to just disappear. Ta-da! And now you see no brows. Magic. I am someone that have a tendency to like to do my face first. I need to see all the features of Carl disappear and then have Nicky kind of like come to life. And once I am a woman, I can start doing my eye makeup. So now we're gonna start to do the highlight, and then we will do the contour. What I like to use, because I have a very dry skin, I like to use very moisturizing formulas. This is a very creamy stick that is actually from a pharmacy. The name is Bionic and the reference is Opale01. The placement of where you highlight is very important. It has to stay realistic, at least if you're trying to do a drag that I do. You want to really go and kind of like erase everything that makes your masculine face disappear. So for example, I have a nose that is rather round, so I like to erase that area, and that is going to help me to have a thinner nose. So I highlighted the center of my forehead because that's where I want the focus to be on, and then under my eyes and kind of like lifted it under my nose, the bridges of my nose, and then the center of my chin. And also I already pre-cut my cheek bone. So now that you have this, you are going to use your Beauty Blender. Basically just go and dab to really blend the foundation that you've put first, blend with the highlight. And both formulas are just going to perfectly blend together. Don't be scared to go on your eyelid as well. You're gonna use it as a primer. Now that we have a foundation and a highlight, we're gonna do the contour. For the contour, what I like to use is an Anastasia Beverly Hills foundation in the shade Espresso. This is what works for my skin tone. And it's literally a stick that has this color. It's not too orange and it's not too cold, so it's gonna be the perfect shadow for me. And I'm basically gonna go right on top of the highlight line that I created and just go upward a little bit. Up, and then really around the hairline. Do not go too wild on this, because once you're gonna blend the color, you're gonna get much more brown than you think you will get. Okay, and for the jaw, you see I don't have a very large jaw to begin with, so you don't need to do much, but I kind of like put some shadow here, and then I cut my chin a little bit just to make it a little bit more feminine. And now we're gonna use our contouring Beauty Blender and just start blending upward. You always want to keep the line that you created. You just want to have it perfectly blended. And for this part, it is always tricky because you're working with very dark colors, so you can use some brush as well. This one works really well because it looks like a beauty blender on its own. And so if there's some left over, you can just go ahead and blend. And then you can slowly kind of like go a little bit towards the center of the forehead with whatever is left, and this is gonna give you the perfect transition of the colors, you see. The last part is the nose. With the nose, you do not want to be too intense. You want to be careful with how you contour your nose. I like to use a very sharp brush. You know, it's like not too soft. Some of the same color. I'm gonna go at the roots of my eyebrow, my natural eyebrow, and then I'm just gonna go and recreate a bridge. And then you want to end up as like a little point at the end, because the tip is always the most important. And then right there, now that you have this, you want to go ahead and kind of like create a half circle right here. And turn this whole area dark. And this is really gonna bring that little pinch at the end of the nose, is to really make this whole area disappear. So I like to use this brush that has one side that is sizzled like this, and then a little fluffy brush like this. And I'm gonna use the fluffy side and then just like blend within the area that I defined the contour. And then with hair, I'm gonna blend backward and really make sure that this area stays clean, okay? Because otherwise it messes up your whole work. Because you can clean that area, but this one needs to be perfectly geometrical. You want to have like a sharp line. This is really gonna create the illusion. Now that I've done that, I want to have this area a little bit more lighter. So I'm gonna go back with my blender. And boom, I can hardly breathe. And to now go even further, what I like to use, call me crazy again, I don't know, but I like to use some clown white in the very highlight part of my highlight. So I'm gonna use the white using my highlight brush, and I'm literally just gonna go where I need the most brightness. So you see, I'm literally just going at the center of my highlight. And this is really what's gonna bring you a 3D contouring and highlight. Okay, now very important phase, do not mess this one up. You wanna create a sharp line right here. Okay, so now that you have this, you know the next step, blending. All right, so now we're gonna set everything with our powder, and what I like to use this time is not a beauty blender because I wanna have a lot of coverage. I'm gonna use I'm gonna use this, and I'm gonna go and dab a good amount of powder. And first and foremost, I'm going to cover the highlight area first because you wanna bake. Baking really means like let the highlight set and the powder really kind of like merge with the foundation, and that is really gonna create that highlight cast. So you're gonna go under with your translucent powder. I like to work first with my translucent powder because that does not alter the pigment of my foundation under. So I use this first, and you see how I pinch my nose? This is really what's gonna create the illusion of the smaller nose, is when you're gonna put the powder. And now what you're gonna do is that you are gonna use a flat brush like this, okay? And you're gonna take some loose powder and you're really gonna go just on the line you created. Now that I've done this, I use a big chunky brush and I take a good amount of powder, not too much. And you're gonna go and boop, 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 boop. And also, do not forget your throat, because you've put foundation on it. And that is really gonna help you to have a long-lasting foundation. Ta-da! And now we are gonna let this area set for the whole time that we're gonna do the eyes. So now that we've worked on the face, we're gonna work on the brows. I like to use a contour stick that is a little bit darker than my actual contour color. This one is Cool Earth by Anastasia Beverly Hills. I'm gonna start to frame my brow. In the lower part like this, and usually how I position it is at in the middle of my natural brow. So I go high without being too high, you know? So now that I have the frame, I am going to fill it. And I like to use both colors, both the dark contour stick and the initial contour stick that I used for my face. So I start by filling the tail with the darker shade. I like to use a little brush and I am going to blend that so. And I am going to use a lighter shade with the same brush and kind of like blend the two colors together. And that is going to give you the ombre that a natural brow has. And here it is. So now how you realize my brow actually starts here, but I push it a little bit on the side, that opens the eye. And once I've done that, I am going to use my highlight brush and I'm going to go and clean under the brow. And that is gonna give me that sharp line that we're all dreaming of. Ta-da! Boop, 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 boop. Now, the hardest part is to do the sister, hopefully the twin or the cousin, but at least please let them be from the same family. Wish me luck. Well, not bad. Also, when you do it off camera, that helps. And voila. So now that you've done that, what you want to do is definitely to go and lock it with powder the same way that we have done it with our foundation. So I like to use the initial beauty blender that I was using in the beginning to set my brow, and I am going over it. And then you will lose some pigment doing this because of course the translucent powder kind of like wash out the pigment, but we are gonna go over with eyeshadow. So Sophia Loren is known for a very strong brow and a kind of like smoky with a very graphic liner, but what she used to do is actually add a white line inside the liner. Usually this is what I do. I call it the ballerina line, which is like an old school way of doing makeup to open eye makeup for ballerinas on stage. But Sophia Loren is kind of that technique, but she closed the liner of the bottom line with the top line. So this is what we're gonna try to do today. So what I'm going to start doing now, the same way that as I've contoured my face, I am going to contour my eyes. So I like to use this palette by MAC. I like to use shades like that to kind of like start to redefine the brow bone. Always use a fluffy brush for that step because you want to add pigment without making a stain, you know? And you want to do some like circular motions to really slowly apply the pigment without being too harsh or look fake, because at the end of the day what you're trying to do now is a shadow, and a shadow is something that the human body, in the way the light hits your face, is here naturally. So if you start to have too harsh lines, it just looks like a line and not a shadow. Right, you see? You're starting to frame a little bit the eye. You know, it's very, very weird. As much as I can write perfectly English, I mean, I hope so at least, it is very different if I'm focused on something, if my brain is turned off just by a little bit, if you're tired or stressed or anything like that, you start to make mistakes much more often. Like, I feel like I'm speaking English very well when I'm in a very peaceful environment, which is why in a competition aspect like Drag Race, it is really hard to overcome your struggles, you know? But I hope that you guys are enjoying season 12 of RuPaul's Drag Race. This is probably one of my favorite season, and to be honest, it has nothing to do with the fact that I was in it. Of course, I elevated the whole thing, but this cast is so talented. Those girls are so genuine and really hardworking girls, and I would have not traded to be with anyone else. Well, maybe some of my French sisters, but it would have felt sad to see them lose against me. I started to do makeup on myself back in 2009, and trust me, Nicky doll has everything but a doll face. She was looking busted, and I've learned slowly thanks to YouTube, thanks to the first influencers. I have never been to makeup school. I was supposed to be, I was actually learning communication at the university in France, in Paris, and just realized that it was not for me, and I stopped after my license, and I went straight to Mac to work at the counter, and I allowed myself for 1 year to just try it and see if that's something that I would love to do. My best friend is a makeup artist as well, and I was so inspired by what he was doing and how happy he was to work there. So I just went, gave it a shot, and I do not regret whatsoever making this choice in my life. So sometimes you are taking a path and you're thinking that this is what was written for you, but sometimes you have to follow your instinct, and hopefully this instinct just led you to your destiny. And I think that being a makeup artist before even being a drag queen was really what was meant for me. All right, so now that I'm framing the face, the eyes, I am kind of like slowly just extending it, you know? Because when you see me from here, then the eye starts to lift. And I have like a Britney Spears eye, which falls. Sorry, Britney, I just don't know how to say this in English. I have a Britney Spears eye. And I kind of like go against the gravity and lift it. You know, I snatch that part. And now, boom, she is mean. She's kind of like giving you Melania Trump, no? Do I know you? Not sure, don't remember. Every time I see Melania Trump, I see a stunning, beautiful woman, but I'm always saying to myself, this bitch is looking like she's trying to figure out where she met you, and she just can't figure it out just yet. And she probably never will, because she's always like this. And now I'm going to go in my fake brow bone right there, and then slowly reshape my crease. You see? You don't really see a black line, but she's here. And I like to I try to stay away from the black as much as possible. The black is really the final touch. So I use like this very dark anthracite and just a tiny bit of black. Ooh, she is looking defined, darling. Now I'm going back with the first fluffy brush, and I'm gonna blend upward. And now what I'm gonna do is, because I do not wanna have a too draggy makeup, because that was not really the the look that Sophia Loren was going for, I am going to cut my crease but not use a white on top of it at the end. I'm gonna use a beige. So for this, you wanna go back with your clan white. You wanna go back, I actually like to use the exact same brush that I was using for my highlights, and I'm going to cut the crease. Cut the crease is really going under that dark line that we designed. And just slowly redefine your crease. Boom. What I like to do, I don't like to do the full thing. I like to keep it that way, and then with another brush, another fluffy brush, I will just blend it out. And that is gonna allow me to really blend the colors together. What you wanna do though is set this cream before it messes up everything with the color that you wanna wear on top. So like I said, Sophia Loren was wearing kind of like more of earthy tones, so I am going to go over with this beige, those two. And now I'm gonna go back with my brush and then go blend the edges just slightly to really have a seamless makeup. Boom. And now you do the other side. All right, so now that we've done this, we are going to start framing the under eye, and this is really an important part of the Sophia Loren look, is that you want to really extend that part of the eye and lick it all the way there. So what we're gonna do is use that small brush that I used in the beginning, and I am going to use the anthracite and that gray together, and I'm going to slowly go under my eye. And then here, you wanna go straight. Now we're gonna do the other eye. So now you just wanna go and blend the edges. You never wanna leave a line alone like this. You always wanna make sure that you are really blending after applying. Okay, so now that you have framed the lower part, we are gonna actually go over and use a black eyeliner and create that line. So her line was really going like this and then joining that one. So we are gonna go and start by defining that line. And now we're gonna go over here and you have this. We are gonna go and link it. Boom. Like that. Now that you've done this, you are gonna literally just link the inner corner. And what we're gonna do actually is to use a white eyeliner. I like to use the NYX one because I like the applicator. And I am going to kind of like clean that part. And now I am going to use a black eyeshadow and really try to redefine that lower line to really mix it with the top one. And now to create the illusion, you really want to use a white eye pencil, and you're going to go in the waterline right there. And then slowly, with my white eyeliner, I am really going around the lashes, actually right under it, and really redefining that line. And that is really what's going to create that sharp white line that she had that made her look very severe but also stunningly gorgeous. And now we're just gonna go with a liquid liner and just redefine that black line. And boom! This was the contact and the lashes. Mama, just call me Sophia. I'm gonna go off camera and do the other eye because I'm actually running a little late for my digital drag show. And she is back. Now that we've done this, we are going to start putting some mascara. So what I like to use, actually, everybody keeps saying that waterproof mascara is life-changing. To be honest, the only thing that it changed is the amount of hours that I sleep at night. So I like to stay with the regular mascara. Somehow my mascara doesn't run out, or people have been lying to me all my life. But this is what I use. I use a Maybelline, the Colossal Volume Express. It works well for me. It is cheap, dark black. Yeah. You want to make sure that you are coating a lot of black around your eye because you want to have that very sultry, intense, coal, a deep, dark eyeliner. Also, a little trick when you do this eye, because there is a lot of white in your waterline, you do not want to go all the way to the root of your mascara, of your lash, because otherwise you're going to remove that white effect. So just go, but leave a little space. You really want to have the length of the eyelashes really dark, but leave the root white. It sounds way more difficult than it actually is. You just need to go coat, but not all the way to the root. And now you have this. And what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to use a little bit of shimmer because I am still a drag queen and you want to have that eye makeup that pops. So I am using a Dazzle Shadow Liquid by MAC and the reference is Diamond Crumbles. I like this eyeshadow because it is liquid, but also because it has that little flake of pink and silver. And that really pops really well. And I think because I use some taupe colors, it kind of like blend well with the rest. So to be honest, this is not exactly Sophia Loren. This is more of a Sophia Loren 2020. Just gonna apply at the very beginning of your crease because this is really where you need it. The rest is going to be not on the light, so the glitter is not going to pop much. Just go and blend that part, blah, 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 inward this time, and boom. As Nicky doll, I cannot not wear color contact because I believe that having lighter eyes really makes the eye makeup pop. That being said, if I was a woman, I would be really proud of having beautiful brown eyes because brown eyes can wear every single type of colors. But because I'm going on stage and I'm going for a more dramatic look, I like to wear contacts. For this look, usually I go for like a light gray, but this time I'm going to use a honey green eye color, which is closer to Sophia Loren. And voila. So now I have my light eyes and I'm going to be applying lashes. For the lashes, what I like to do is that I double stack lash. So I don't know if you can see here. I try to use a smaller lash first and then I double stack 301s, which are like the classic drag queen eyelash. And that really is gonna give me that volume that I need. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm gonna be applying the glue on the lash. What I like to do is to use a black glue because once it's dry on the eyeliner, it dries black. So I'm using a little back of my brush and I'm going locally. And the trick is let it sit, let it dry for a bit for the glue to become tacky. During the time that I leave my lash to dry, I am actually applying a coat of the glue on the second one. And now while I let this one sit, I am going to apply the first one. So you want to go really as close as you can from your lash root at the inner corner, but the trick is to really lift the outer corner as high as you can on the liner. That seems crazy, but it is how you really get that lift. So now that we've done that, we are going to start working around your face and just add more depth to your skin. So what I'm doing is that I'm using a bronzing powder, and now I can finally start working around details that were either too flat or that I just didn't do yet. So for example, brushing off my highlight powder or contouring with powder. So now that I've done that, I am going to brush out the highlight. You remember that powder that we set? So now your highlight is set, and because there will be no fallout of eyeshadow, you can finally brush it out. But what I like to do, because I am a highlight queen, I like to go even further with my highlight. And so what I do is that I use 2 shades of Studio Fix. One is literally white and one is a little bit darker. And I like to go on the first part of my highlight right there as a transition. What I like with this is not only it is a setting powder, but it is also a foundation, so it adds even more coverage to your skin. And then now I use my white one, and this one you're gonna go exactly like you used the white cream. You're gonna go very locally, so right there. Boom, right there. And then stack it on the nose, okay? Boom. You don't wanna look like you're breathing, honey. Ooh. Yes, I put a lot. And yes, I'm not sorry. And then up. And then what I like to do, because I've put a lot of powder, I go back with my contour brush and I just go and up. And now you should be having a perfectly contoured and highlighted skin. Of course, I like to kind of like blend the edges once I've done that. You don't want to have color fight. And now the only thing that is missing to bring some life to this foundation is some blush. And what I like to use is this literally this palette changed my life because this is the perfect palette to travel with. It is super small. It is by The Balm, sorry. It is by The Balm Cosmetics, and it has all the shades. And what I do, because I'm a greedy bitch, I like to use all of them. So I go from the contour color to a little bit of pink and to some coral, dab it, and then smile. And then I like to go and blend my highlight and contour with blush in the middle because that brings me life. And it makes me look so nice and so sweet. And then what I like to do is add a little powder right here. And that really just brings life to your contour. Good. So now I am going back with my highlight powder just to blend the blush and the highlight the same way as I do for everything. It's always going back and forth, going back and forth, going back and forth. Miss Sophia Loren was known for her dramatic, very beautiful nude lip. And so this is what we're gonna do now. We're gonna do a beautiful constructed nude lip and with a tiny bit of gloss. All right, to achieve this look, what I like to use is the pencil Stone by MAC, which is a perfectly cold, almost mauve brown. And I'm going to go from here. I don't know if you guys can hear, but this is 7 p.m. in New York and everybody's clapping for the people in the front line. So we love you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your incredible bravery and for basically helping us all to stay safe. We love you, to the nurses, to the doctors, to all the people in the front line, essential workers. Thank you so much. This is for you. This is my favorite part of the day. Now, what I'm gonna do, that I've contoured my lip, I'm gonna use a darker lip first and then slowly highlight. This one is Anastasia Beverly Hills and the shade is Toast. Okay, now what I'm gonna use is a Anastasia Beverly Hills in Crush. And this is gonna be the little highlight that I'm putting in the center. Then you can use a brush to make sure that everything is well blended. And then once this is over, I go with an even lighter color. This one is MAC and it's Lady Be Good. And I go right there. And for this one, I cheat a little bit. I go take some white and then with a brush. Boom. All right, so now that this is over, I'm going to put my outfits and I'll be right back. And voila, I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. This is my take on the Sophia Loren iconic eye makeup. I cannot wait to show you more. Don't forget to subscribe on W Magazine channel and make sure to let me know what you think in the comments. I love you.